Welcome. You're tuned into Life is a Sacred Journey. Every week, we bring a new perspective to aging and caregiving. Here is your host, Micheal Pope.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? It is so nice to be back with you this morning in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey. I'm moving my camera thing here yesterday, and then now I'm kind of discombobulated a little bit. But we are here and thankful that all of you are here with us. And this morning on the way in here, I was listening to Gregory Porter's new Christmas CD. If you are like me, I love Christmas music, and so I say download it. It was a really cool experience. I enjoyed it very, very much. Next weekend is Christmas. I can't believe it. I think I'm right. Yeah, something around there. I think it's great. Yesterday, I had an opportunity to go to one of my favorite stores. If you have one in your area, you should drop in there when it's not so busy. It's just a really beautiful store. It's Anthropology, and they have just a variety of household things as well as clothing. It's sort of like, it reminds me of the old sort of Lord and Taylor's, but then in a more specialized kind of way. Like they create these wonderful little sections in the store where things are just, little of this, a little of that. They have the best smelling candles. I just had there was nobody downtown in Walnut Creek, and I had to go pick up something that I had ordered. It had arrived. And it was just a great day. So a great evening. I spent a couple of hours and then went and had dinner by myself. And it's okay. It's great. It's great being alive. So welcome to Life is a Sacred Journey. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey. I am your host, your facilitator, your preceptor, Micheal Pope. And Life is a Sacred Journey is a platform that was created at first just to bring information about caregiving. And then we began to realize that it was more, everything about life is about caregiving, either whether you're doing it for yourself or caregiving for another individual. So we just began to be a little bit more creative, got more authors and different experts in the field of caregiving, but also just life in general. So I want to welcome you to another Friday morning. We gather, we meet, we fellowship every Friday at 8 a.m. And we have a lot of guests lined up, topics lined up that we're exploring for 2024. But as we come to the end of 2023, Felicia thought it would be a great idea if we could just kind of review some good things that happened in 2023. And then I'm going to add in it some other things that, that are kind of like grateful things and gratitude things. So welcome. Get your cup of coffee. I went to Dunkin' Donuts this morning. This is there we go, my favorite place. Stop by. I got a dozen donuts for my team downstairs and actually ate one glazed chocolate. Oh my goodness gracious. I shouldn't have eaten it, but you know what? It's Christmas and I enjoyed it on my way here. So hit the share button. Let us know you're there. I'm gonna look on my phone just so I can say good morning to some of my friends that come and join us every Friday. I know some of you see it on the broadcast, but I want to thank you all for joining. Felicia, Nancy, good morning. Nancy is there. And Felicia is there. I know Sandy will probably be joining us shortly and others, but I want to thank you all for sharing. Life is a Sacred Journey. We want to get up our subscribers and folks that follow us in 2024. But you know what? It is what it is. And we're just here because we know how important it is, the information that we share. So first of all, I want to start by saying in 2023, we know that there have been and always will be in all of our lives tragedies and things that break our hearts. I was just getting a little melancholy myself this morning in the car thinking about loss and thinking about those that I lost and have lost even around this season. And so we're not negating that, but we wanted to lift up some things that were good around us, because I think that we also need to concentrate a little bit more. I know I do. I need to focus a little bit more on the good and a little bit more, I try to be positive, but this has been a year where I have felt very sucker punched emotionally, but I've used my emotional intelligence and some of my other learnings of life and everything, and to just move forward, and do the best I can. I never said that I have been perfect in any way, shape, or form. So it doesn't give me carte blanche to make mistakes, but at the end of the day, we all have stuff that we carry into that we'll take to the end of our lives, and I am no different than anybody else. And so to all of you out there in the Life is a Sacred Journey neighborhood, family, fellowship, congratulations on being human. Congratulations. It's one of the most perplexing positions to be in. I believe in I don't know any other reality, but I do know, getting ready to move into my 67th year of life. And those of you that are older than me that can attest to this, and it's been a ride, and it's been a roller coaster ride that has taught me a great deal about humanity. But I can't think of anything else that I'd rather be other than a dog. Oh gosh. I always say when I come back, I'm coming back as a dog. I'm picking a really good owner. I'm picking someone like Nancy Redding or myself or other people who I know love their dogs like family, not like pets. Yeah. So anyway, let's get started because we. Good morning, everybody. I'm sending you a big hug. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. I'm going into the end of 2023 an emotional mess. But you know what? I'm still here and I'm still trying to make it every single day, and I'm still trying to fight those demons that, have been placed in my spirit through life experiences and many, many times the pain of others. But I'm still here, and that's the key. All right, so let's talk about some good things that occurred in 2023. Thank you, Felicia, for this wonderful topic. One of the things, I haven't purchased one yet, as any of you that follow me on Facebook know that I just got Snowflake back after she got a boo-boo in a parking lot. She's all beautifully, wonderfully restored, but she's not electric. But one of the things in 2023 that we are celebrating as a human community and that is impacting the earth in a very positive way is hybrid and electric cars. As we move into 2024, it is predicted that we will see more people purchasing as the gas cars that they have and some of the mandates that we voted on or that were mandated to us, we are getting in compliance with. And so that is a really great thing. The coal is dying out. So as a fuel that we use for power and heat and all of that, coal is something that we're using less and less of. And so that's a really good thing because the impact of coal on the environment is not good as well. Solar power. All through my neighborhood, I see solar panels everywhere all the time. Even my church, we invested in that a long time ago. So solar power is something, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper, if not free, in some communities, neighborhoods, and places. So that's a really good thing that's happened already in 2023, and we're going to be better at it in 24. Energy is more renewable than ever, especially in Texas. Well, all right, Texas, there's some things about your state that I question in the way that you treat your humanity. But at the end of the day, energy is renewable there more than ever. And we're seeing more windmills go, the energy mills going up. We're seeing more of that going on. We're caring more about the environment, and a shout out to our young people I mean, really young people, elementary school age and older, who have really forced us to have this dialogue. I heard some eloquent little fifth graders, and I apologize for saying little. I'm sorry for saying that. That's ageist. But fifth graders who were talking about the earth and how they were talking about racism. You can find it on YouTube, and they were just so eloquent. And I kept thinking, we need you to be a senator or okay, fifth graders. And I'm not putting them down because it would be ageist for me to do that. But yeah, they're really pushing us and saying, hey, don't destroy the world just because you're not going to be around forever. Love those fifth graders. Children will set us free. The ozone layer is healing and should start to heal a little faster as we continue to work on some of these things. The ozone layer. My gosh, I remember when the ozone layer was the topic, aerosol sprays and all of that, but we're getting better at it. So keep doing that, friends. Keep looking at those cans and all the things that you purchase and figure out how they impact the environment around you. The ozone layer needs our help, but it is healing, and that's a good thing. The bees, over the last decade, we've been hearing about the loss of life of bees and how detrimental that is also to the environment. You can see the great things that are happening around the environment, but they're also happening because of our actions. And that's a really good thing. And so I think today we should applaud that, the bees had a good win or in 2023. We'll figure out if it continues that way, and that they're looking at the fact that the bees are now growing, getting stronger, and that they had a score 1 out of 5 were working on pollinating. And that was the thing. The bees, even the bees that we had, it's important for them to pollinate. And these bees weren't doing that. And now we're seeing more of that. And what it is we're stopping pesticide use. The pesticides were paralyzing the brain of the bee and making it impossible for them to pollinate. So we're using less pesticides that do that and hurt the nerve of the bee, and we're using more organic pesticides and actually, learning how to garden in an organic way that applauds all of the creation, because I just learned the mosquito is good in some places and not good in others. So, we have to figure out that balance. Everything has a balance, a yin and the yang, a good and a bad, and we need to figure out the balance. Inflation, well, inflation was coming down, and I'm not really sure if it still is, but at the beginning of 2023, we were seeing that people were bouncing back. And again, it was due to the pandemic and some of the child tax for things. Actually, that's something that we need to fight to get back. During the pandemic, we got these federal funds to help children and to lift the lives of parents who were parenting children, and they cut that funding in 2023. And so we got to think about cause and effect again. So number 7, inflation coming down. I'm not sure if we're still there, but it was at the beginning of 2023. Even though it always appears that Russia is, war and really bombing the Ukraine, the Ukraine is fighting back and taking back more and more of their land, and when you invade a country and try to rob them of their resources and everything, and they fight back and they win back their property and they win back their stuff after much death and destruction, that's a celebration. So we still remember you, siblings in the Ukraine and Moldova and all those areas that we know that you are still experiencing war. And so it's a win that you're still courageous and fighting back, but it's not a win that another country felt like they could come and oppress you. So It's something to continue to watch and something to continue to ponder. Why do we do such harm to each other? Where the world is weaning itself, actually, speaking of Russia, off of Russian fuel. And so that's an interesting thing that has happened throughout the European markets and everywhere. So we need to continue to watch those things. And as a humanity, and kudos to the UN for including all of these topics in their conversations in those hallowed halls, the place where when I played hooky and just tried to be a part of the wall and learn why the UN exists. And it is one of those organizations that doesn't get enough attention. And when it does, it's usually for something that they were fighting for but couldn't accomplish because of humanity and the decisions that we make after we leave the rooms of communication. Sometimes we communicate that we will work together, and then after we leave the room, we go back to our old ways. We don't do what we promised to do. That's actually been something in 2022 and 2023 that I have been a part of, and it has really jacked up, for lack of a better words, my ability to understand why people just can't be honest about how they feel and yet still be treated with respect after they say something that is contrary to what you may believe, and you may not like the way they believe, but wow, I've learned how mean and vicious and vile people can be when you don't believe as they believe, and they will dog you until the cows come home. So you have to really work hard on your self-esteem and staying focused on your purpose and who you are, because I'm telling you, people are yeah, something's that I don't know. But anyway, that's not what this is all about. Let's keep moving on. We're in the first year of the fusion age. So we're at the end of the first year of the fusion age. What does that mean? That means all kinds of innovation, experiments, and exploration is happening in the laboratories across the world. And now, we always have to be careful because we know big pharma is a part of all of that. And, we need to really use discernment when we allow folks to experiment. AI we're ending the year with dialogue around AI. And, I have some feelings about AI. I have some feelings about the fact every time I buy something online and I go and turn my television on, that all of a sudden you send me a million commercials of that one thing that I purchased. And that bothers me. It makes me feel violated. And so one of the things in 2024 that I'm going to do is I'm not ordering anything else online. I'm actually dropping Amazon from my list of things of where I'm going to purchase things because I just don't like it. I actually hate it. I don't use the word hate often, but I hate that because it makes me feel violated and like somebody's watching me. And that's just a very weird feeling to have. The other three things were political, so I'll add them with something else. I don't want to go down the political rabbit hole with Alice. So jobs, people have had the opportunity to find jobs, to get retrained, to work and so forth. And so that's something to be grateful for. And we're finding that, I know for me as an employer, it's been much harder for me to find people to come and work in the nonprofit sector because of salaries and all of those kinds of things. But the people we have hired have been really excellent and had come to us with great experience. The other thing that we should be thankful for, so I'm adding that in, is our past experiences. One of the things that I'm beginning to realize is that I've had some past experiences that I've shared and others that I will never share, but they have been experiences that have brought me to this time, to this day, to this moment. And whether or not people like it or not, like somebody said something to me yesterday, and they said, "Oh, you talk too loud." And I thought about it, and this is my voice. This is the octave of my voice. That's why when I do cantatas and I do public speaking or when I preach, people hear me. And I always think it's interesting that it's how easy it is that people can point out something that may be a negative for them, but it's not for me, or not for you, or not for the other person. So, we need to be careful how we tell people about who they are and what they have to change about themselves, because maybe it's not something they can change, want to change, and you are supposed to be here to accept people as they are and as they present themselves. And so I thought about that a lot last night. I actually wrote that in my journal. No anger, no animosity or whatever, but whatever. The other is being grateful for the opportunity to grow. So we have the opportunity to always learn and grow, even from what I said previously. Maybe there is something that I can do to make sure that the tone of my voice is different and modulated a little bit more. And so there's always an opportunity to grow and to see things from another's perspective, but not to live your life through changing always for the other's perspective, because maybe you are living out your best you that you can. And there comes a point in life that you just have to do you and not, just fall at the beck and call of changing. That's emotional intelligence, that when you learn that you are who you are, and no matter who people try to make you be or want you to be, you are who you are, and you need to learn to love who you are. The other is number 3 is dreams. Being grateful for dreams. Dreams are these wonderful places where we work out problems, where sometimes they give us insight to things that are going on in our hearts and spirits. Remember, a dream is not a nightmare. A dream is a wonderful thing where you're living out a story, whether the story is in the past, the present, or the future. Dreams are really wonderful. The other grateful thing, because I'm moving on from all these political ones, is sunshine. Being grateful for, in 2023, we still had sunshine. Even though there were rainy days, cloudy days that the weather was right now, tornadoes and all of that, we still had sunshine, and we still will have sunshine. And that's the sun will come out tomorrow. Annie, yeah, is that it? Okay. So yeah, we still have sunshine, and that is something to be thankful for. So I think I skipped over those. Yeah. Even though COVID is still with us and it's on the rise here in Alameda County, according to the recent water that they tested, I guess it's the wastewater that they test, and I think they do it in every county. Well, in Alameda County, it's up, and it's been the flu also has been added to that runoff water, and so we now know that COVID's going to be with us just like the flu. And so what we do is, as we roll into 2024, we have less people dying than we did 3 years ago. Now we have RSV. We have to look at that. People over the age of 65 need to look at getting the RSV, the flu, the COVID, all these vaccine, pneumococcal. And you need to look at it and have a discussion with your doctor. Do you get them all at the same time? Do you go back? All those things are discussions that you have the power as the consumer of your medical plan and insurance to ask those questions. But if you're over the age of 65 and you have not been vaccinated for any of these things, be very careful. Wear a mask when you go into a public setting. My go-to is wear a mask when you're not in your home or your inner circle. Simple as that. So when I go into a store when I go into a store where it's more the aisles are closer together, and somebody, I always have one in my pocket. So if somebody's around me and it looks like they might be sneezing or coughing, and it's about the cold too. It's not just about COVID. I wear a mask just because, one, I have a granddaughter that I want to be able to continue to visit, but the other is I don't want to get sick. And I've increased my vitamin C intake. I've started to again, vitamin C. I've started to take a multivitamin that has antioxidants and all kinds of things in it. And I've tried to really get more rest, get to bed earlier. I'm waking up earlier, but at the end of the day, going to bed early. So that's why I started a new habit of I don't answer my phone. Everything, all electronics are turned off at a certain time. Because it's just too much negative stimulus coming in from all that stuff. Not that there's not good in there, but there's a lot of bad in there, and it distracts me, and I don't want to go to bed with it in my head. So take care of yourself. That's the one thing in 2023 that is a good thing. We all have learned to take better care of ourselves. I think Zoom meetings have been the most incredible thing that we've adopted, because we're not driving in our cars all the time trying to get to this meeting, get back to here and that. So it has, though, created another set of fatigue, Zoom fatigue. And so in between your Zoom meetings, make sure you get at least an hour or at least 30 minutes is what I have read, to get up, move around, drink water, get hydrated, look out the window. If you can go for a walk for that 30 minutes, 15-minute walk, come back, get reacclimated, and but take care of yourself, because Zoom has makes people kind of selfish with your time, and they think they can just you could schedule meetings, one Zoom meeting after another. You can do that, you can do any of it, but it's not healthy. Okay, all right. So COVID is still with us, but it's not the disease that it was that closed down our businesses. And vaccines, this is another of the 23. Vaccines are quietly saving people's lives. Now, we all have opinions about vaccines. I had opinions about vaccine, like I in my heart, I don't think I said anything, because I try not to get in anybody's business, including my children. I was hoping that my son and his wife wouldn't, and they didn't, get the cocktail vaccinations, just a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. Keep her, away from people who are sick and people, that don't take care of themselves in that way by wearing a mask, and just do it a little bit at a time, because we just don't know about certain things. But they are vaccines. There are vaccines out there that are quietly saving our lives. Now, this is another political topic, but I do have to bring it up. It's about abortion rights in 2023, a blow, 22 blow, but we're talking about it again and saying, what can we do, between now, 2026, to get some semblance of understanding, and be in a room and have a dialogue one way or another about how you feel about abortion, but do it in a way that's respectful of each other. As you can see, I'm not voicing my opinion on it one way or another, but I am going to voice my opinion on people's rights to do what they want to do when they want to do it. And that, to me, is a social justice issue, and has nothing to do with the way that people have politicized that particular topic. So that's the only political one that I'm gonna read. Things are happening. Things are happening in the tech world. They continue to experience layoffs, but when in those layoffs, that's not the whole story. What's happening is they're beginning to stabilize and to not really be that large capitalistic market share. And they're beginning to stabilize in how many people they have, how many people they hire, and all of that. So they're not always a bad thing to experience layoffs in any particular sector of the work market, you have to always look deeper. Like, why are those layoffs happening? Are people moving to other things? Are people retiring, moving out of all of those, all those things, and companies react to that. I've learned more acutely during the aftermath of the pandemic, figuring out how to bring ASA back from her knees to a standing position. And it meant closing sites. It meant, raising our rates to a higher level of closer, and it's still like $100 off of what we spend to be here every single day. Not administrative costs, never administrative costs, but the cost of the program. And so those kinds of things. And so I've learned that as a leader, and sometimes people judge leaders inappropriately, we have to make decisions that are about the whole. Thank you, Captain Kirk, about the whole, not just one little microscopic piece, but the whole organization, past, present, and future, being mindful of the legacy of others, living in this current reality, and then moving and placing the organization where it can thrive in the future under different leadership or others. So that's it. We got the water we needed here in California. I don't know where we are right now, but beginning of 2023, boy, we were getting some water, weren't we? And we were nervous about it. We were upset about it because it made it treacherous to drive, and we had mudslides and all kinds of things. But the drought got broken a little bit. Again, I don't know where we are in this present day, but it was an answer to a lot of prayer that it would rain, and boy, did it rain. So that's a good thing. But and then it had some of its drawbacks, as anything, again, yin and the yang, good and the bad, all of that. More artifacts are being returned to their rightful countries. That made me really happy. That I think that, yes, I'm into that. Like, I love all of that. I just watched the documentary the other night, and I just love all of that stuff where we go back in 820 AD and you're finding all that. But then when those artifacts, are found, to take them and put them in a museum that is not in the country, they need to be returned. It is that country's history, legacy, to its present and to the future generations. And so we saw that happen in 2023. And my hope is, as an art person and a lover of culture, that we do more of that. We're almost there. The air is getting cleaner. I question that one a little bit, but that's only because here in California, we've had so many fires, and the residual of the fires are still existing. And so fires are something that create, soot in the air and all of that. But the air is getting cleaner, according in the US and in Europe, even in China, it says. And the matter of pollution, that it's fallen by 41% since the late 1990s, and in the 2000s, we're doing a better job. Again, to continue to do that, having fresh air, clean air is very important. More of the Earth's non-human inhabitants are safe. We're not killing stuff as much. We're protecting species that are in jeopardy. We have annihilated a lot of species, though, so we need to keep it up and keep reminding ourselves that this is not just a human planet. We share it with all kinds of life, that some that we can't even see. And so how do we make sure that our contact with all human life is one that is respected, and then take it into the animal kingdom, and then. So we've got a lot of work to do, but we're getting better at it, that we're respecting animals and the other creations that are living creations. The one place that we didn't do a good job recently is with dogs. More and more I'm hearing that they're calling them pandemic dogs. that during the pandemic, when we were lonely as humans and feeling detached from each other, we ran to the shelters and got dogs, and then now we're taking them back. And I have to say to you folks out there, I get it, but as a dog partner, they would have been better off if you had left them in the shelter, even though they may have gotten euthanized and all of that. We try not to do that a lot in the shelters in California and other states. But to take a dog and bring it home and then take it back after you decide that your life is too busy and you don't have time for it, that is like, wow. So when you make a commitment to go into a shelter, to take an animal, take a dog, because that's what I'm speaking of, make sure you know it's for the dog's life. And they can live pretty long. So at minimum 12, 15 years. I actually know a dog that's like almost 18 years old. So it's a lifetime commitment, the dog's life. So leave them where they are. Yes, they're suffering, but they're going to suffer more if you give them that false hope that they have found their forever home, their forever persons, and then you take them back because you've decided that you got more valuable things to do. I haven't moved because of dogs. I haven't traveled because of dogs, right? I go home at a certain time because of my dogs, and it's because I love them and they are a part of my life. They're not an adjunct and something just to soothe me and make me feel better about my humanity. So think about it before you do that. They're not just a present for today. They are with us for a lifetime. All right. If you're a dog lover out there, put your fist up and say, yeah, Micheal. Because I was mad about that. The pandemic dogs. What the heck does that mean? And then be careful right now. There's something going around, upper respiratory, something with dogs, and going to dog parks and things of that nature is not a good idea. I know my vet has said keep Daisy out of it. So keep that in mind. All right, we're almost there. AI continues to amuse and outrage, but not threaten creativity. That's number 23 with a little mixed in. So one of the last things I want to say to you about 2023, we're not sure. We may have a repeat airing next Friday. We think we have a guest. And if we don't have a guest, then we will just do a repeat airing, and then I'll see you in close to the end of the year. But I want to say this to you. First of all, thank you. Thank you so much for your continued partnership here at Life is a Sacred Journey. Felicia and I have made family members, chosen family members throughout everybody out there in the Life is a Sacred Journey family. So we are grateful. Namaste. Also, I want to thank Felicia publicly for being the most incredible partner that I could ever imagine in life, putting Life is a Sacred Journey together and presenting it to you out there in the neighborhood. I also want to say to all of you that have lost loved ones, whether it's yesterday or 10 years ago, 1 year ago, or 20 years ago. Your grief is real. Don't let anyone tell you that you shouldn't feel what you're feeling. And it's okay. It's a testimony to your heart that you were able to love and to be loved by another human being to the point that you now miss them and you shed a tear for them. I'm going to shed a lot of them in the next week or so for a whole lot of reasons. But at the end of the day, I am so thankful that I had an opportunity to have a son that changed my life forever, to have parents that they're the reason that I'm here. And they have built a foundation in me that it doesn't matter. I'm thankful. For all the dogs that I have loved, for Alpha, primarily, and what that dog meant to me at a time in my life when my health was not good. To my children who came into my life, and I was 41, 31, and I was like, whoa, and yet changed the trajectory of my heart for forever. Thankful, thankful, thankful. Find things to be thankful for and stop fussing about the things that you have no control over and you cannot change, even if you were the person. I've done some things in my life that are just shucks, right? But at the end of the day, I've repented. I've said I'm sorry when I've had the opportunity to say I'm sorry. I've changed because of those things. And there's not much more I can do. And that's how we have to live our lives. We have to live our lives doing the best we can do and not let people push us into a place where we just feel guilty all the time and fearful of just being who we are, living in our truth. So thank you, Life is a Sacred Journey family. Felicia and I thank you. I thank all the people. The names are endless. There's such a list. I was thinking about them in the car. I was like, I am not even going to start to say the names, because if I do, I'm going to miss somebody who's very blessed in my life, right? So as we prepare to celebrate Christmas, remember Christmas is a season of being grateful. It's a season of giving to others when you have too much. Gregory Porter said that he misses his mom because she reminded him of the importance of giving. That for every toy, I used to do this too, for every toy that he would get, he would have to give it away. She would cook a meal and they would bless the meal and then go and give it away. Go give something away. And enjoy your Christmas with peace and joy and happiness and grief if you have to, a little bit of tears if you have to. Sorry, I just moved the whole screen. And find your calm. Find your calm and find that place inside of yourself where you can look in the mirror and say, I'm not so bad. I'm not perfect. And I'm not what some people want me to be, but I'm not so bad. Have a great day, everybody. Go out into the world, pet a cat, pet a dog, hug a tree, hug yourself, hug another person, smile at another person, say, how you doing? Say, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Life. And then take a deep breath and know that every breath that you take is something to be thankful for and happy for in 2023. And if you get to breathe again in 2024, be thankful again. All right. So for all of you that are out there, this is how we end Life is a Sacred Journey. If you are sad and feeling like your life is not worth living and that you have contemplated or considering to take your life during this holiday season, know that there are people out there. 988 is the suicide hotline number, and people are trained and waiting to talk to you. I know they're going to be off the hook during this holiday season. It's a lot of heartache going on out there in the world. And if you are a young person, emancipated foster person, or emancipated just because you had to be in order to save your life and soul, 1-800-843-5200 is the youth crisis line. 24/7 crisis counseling, anonymous, safe, confidential, and it connects you to services for youth and families, and it's very important. 1-800-843-5200. All right, good friends. It's really always a pleasure to be with you. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful Friday. Get out and catch some sun rays. Get your melanin dancing and alive. All right, peace.